I changed my son's name from his father's name to his own name when he was 2 years old. If you are a woman and you know that the person you're having a child with is not a good person, won't be a consistent father, and we can sit here and say, well, I didn't see it. Us women, we always see it. We know they have shown you a sign or two or three or four or five that they are either not a good man. Some of them, be abusive, inconsistent. The list goes on. Just all in a nutshell, they have shown you that they are not going to really be a good father. I would be very mindful on naming your child after that man. It was a challenge. There were court proceedings. I had to explain why. The father had to explain why he wanted to keep it, keep the name to his name, and it was definitely a little bit of a battle. I am thankful that the court ruled in my favor, and I was able to legally change my son's name. I honestly had a fear of my son growing up and being mad at me because I named him after him, and he wasn't allowed to be his own person. He had to be a direct junior, and he just didn't get to be himself. He didn't get to have his own identity. And then add somebody possibly being a inconsistent father, basically an in and out dad, no real bond or relationship, and you're named after them. Just imagine how they might feel when they grow up. And so that was the fear that I had, and I was basically like, you know what, he needs to have his own name because I can see the future. And I have not been wrong. I have not been wrong yet. I say all this to say, be very mindful on naming your son after his father if you know that the father is not a good father, period.
And if the father isn't a good father and you knew that, why did you get pregnant? But that's low-hanging fruit. I don't want to make that the main topic of discussion because then it's also just super logical, super black and white. Sometimes there are nuances to that, to their reasoning. They were in certain spaces mentally and emotionally. That's what I've heard before. And then in some situations, you're just like, oh man, that was crazy. How did that happen? But so I don't want to focus on that. I want to actually expand the conversation to something different in terms of, yes, I do believe men and women need to make better decisions of who they have children with. But in terms of this name changing, and her reason why. She says she wanted him to have his own identity. I will say this from personal experience. I believe that there can be some sort of pressure when you become aware of who you were named after. Because in a sense, you feel this burden to live up to the name, even though you didn't ask for it. And I totally agree that you want a child to have their own identity, and they can, and they most likely will. But I also think there's a part that a parent has to play in educating their child, especially when they're growing up, on why they named them and how, and encouraging them. But they don't have to have any pressure on them, and that they can be their own person. They don't have to try to be who they were named after. They don't have to try to live up to a legacy that a lot of people know about, or essentially someone who doesn't even have a legacy and hasn't been consistent or present at all. I think this is a big deal because you can actually get stuck in terms of your identity when you feel pressure to be something that you're not interested in being, or to live up to someone's name that you don't even know, or to feel obligated to go by this name that you don't even like. And so on that end, though I don't like her decision making in terms of saying he wasn't a good father and still got pregnant by him, and saying that women see the signs but overlook them. I don't agree with that part, but I do think to some degree that, I don't know her heart. This could be a bitter thing. I don't know. It kind of threw me off because she said he was in court fighting for his son's name to be his name. So maybe he's not inconsistent or absent. But then at the end, she was like, she's not wrong about the future, which she is, but that's neither here nor there. Nobody knows the future, but it seemed like if he was in court fighting for it, that he would have some sort of place in the child's life. I don't know. But at the end of the day, whether she did it for bitter reasons or not, I'll say this much. A child does deserve the right to be their own unique self, not to feel pressured or obligated to be someone that they don't want to be, someone that they don't know, someone who's not involved in their life. They just need that freedom, and they need to be nurtured up in that way. So I wanted to take a different spin on the conversation because I actually think this is important. Whether you name a child after somebody or not, you know, they need to be educated on why you named them that, and not feel the pressure to be anything other than who they truly are. Because at the end of the day, you want this child to have the best childhood and the best adulthood as possible. Not having to deal with unnecessary confusion, unnecessary pressures that they didn't ask for, but yet they're having to deal with because of their parents. But I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think about it, because I know names are a really serious thing. I'm not saying I agree with her changing his name, especially if the father was fighting for it. But I do understand her thought process behind it. Whether she's been genuine or bitter, I don't know. That's not something we can say. I noticed the neck tattoo and the tattoo on her hand. So I don't know what kind of men she was into. I don't know. It's not a sign that she was, looking for someone who's upstanding, because she even ended up saying that he wasn't a good father. That's what she said. I don't know. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section, especially since I don't have no kids. Some of y'all have children. Y'all let me know what you think, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.